So let's talk about diffusion and osmosis and active transport and simple diffusion. So you have a membrane and you have a concentration of molecules on one side and concentration of molecules on another side. This is a semi-permeable membrane. So the simple diffusion, it is the movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration. They go from high concentration gradient of a solid to low concentration gradient of a solid. And the simple diffusion is when molecules are able to go through the selectively permeable membrane without the use of a channel or the carrier mediator. That's a simple diffusion. So this is a simple diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion, when you have a facilitator or a carrier-mediated. So the facilitator or the carrier-mediated diffusion, that's where the molecules move also from high concentration to low concentration, but they use a channel. They go from high to low. That's a diffusion. Carrier-mediated diffusion or the facilitated diffusion. There's a difference, but not that important right now. So here in the simple diffusion, the molecules, like lipid molecules, can go through the semi-permeable membrane just in between phospholipids, right, like that. Or there's also aquaporins, that water can go also from high concentration to low concentration through the aquaporin, or the water can also penetrate, that's a membrane, can also penetrate in between the phospholipids. But it's still simple diffusion, from high to low. So the term diffusion, meaning that you're going from high concentration gradient of a solid to a low concentration gradient of a solid. This is a carrier-mediated or facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion, right? Or the carrier-mediated diffusion. For ions or for the molecules. So if they fit the shape, they go through the facilitated, or if it's carrier-mediated, so they go, so that for the ions, if they have charges, they go from high to low. So let's say sodium here, there's a high concentration of sodium on this side, and there's a low concentration of sodium on this side, so they go from high concentration to low concentration. This is a diffusion. So the osmosis is the movement of water. So here's the active transport. The active transport is the movement of molecules from low concentration gradient to high concentration gradient. So let's say here on this side you have high concentration, and this you have low concentration gradient of molecules. So now with diffusion you go from high to low, but with active transport you go against concentration gradient. So for that you need energy, and that energy in the form of ATP. Something will be pushing these molecules from low to high. So pretend you're standing on a train station and the train arrives. The doors open, and inside of the train there's a lot of people, so those are molecules. So on the platform there's less people, you're only the one, but you want to go against concentration, right? Against concentration gradient. There's the highest concentration inside of the car, and there's low concentration on your side. So you need energy, you need someone to push you inside of the train so the doors can close. So that's an active transport, that's analogy. So you go against concentration gradient. So the active transport, you go against concentration gradient, and a diffusion, you go from high to low. The osmosis, that's the diffusion of water. Osmosis, it's the diffusion of water. But water always goes from high to low. This is it.